Hello and welcome to Glittering the Coast. My name is Angela and today I'm going to show you a glittered medical scissors. They're so cute and pretty easy to make. I will have everything linked in the description box, so make sure you like and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to send them in the comments section. Alright, so this is not hard to do at all. We're going to be doing UV resin at first, and then at the end I'm going to be adding regular epoxy to this because I like the way regular epoxy sits and fills in any tiny little gaps and holes because it levels, whereas most of the UV resin does not self-level. So what I'm doing is I'm taking blue painter's tape and just making sure that I'm taping off the section where the handles meet the actual steel, and I want to keep all of the glitter and all of the epoxy off of that. So I just use the straight edge of the blue painter's tape and I go around the scissors. Now for this, typically I would remove the blue tape between coats of epoxy, but I did not feel like I needed to do that here with any of the layers. Maybe I was just super careful, but you can if you want to. So I mean, I just left the painter's tape on these scissors the whole time that I was working with this. So just make sure that you have the tape secured tightly to the metal part, and make sure that everything is covered really well. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking some fine grit sandpaper and roughing up the handles, which is what I will be glittering. And I didn't really know if I needed to do this or not. I did not watch any tutorials before I did this. A customer had requested that I make some shears for her, and I just figured, why not? They're not rubber, but they were maybe made out of silicone. So I just decided I was going to rough it up just a little bit with my sandpaper, and I will take, I think it's 90% alcohol, and just going over that, removing all of the dust that I had created with the sandpaper. And I'm just using a paper towel to remove any of the dust. So like I said in the first part of the video, we're doing UV resin, and then in the end I'm going to be putting on several coats of regular epoxy. So this is a really nice resin. It cures really well. It's by Resin Rockers, and just a little bit goes a long way. I used way too much resin on this side of before I glittered. You really want just a little bit of resin on your scissor handles. If you add too much, then your glitter is going to completely sink through and look very splotchy. So I do end up wiping some of that off. I could have put it on the other set of handles, but since these were my first shears that I was doing, I was just trying to be very careful so I did not get a whole bunch of drips everywhere. But I feel like if I did these again, I could epoxy both sides at the same time and go in with the glitter at once. So this glitter is by BJ's Glitter, and it is called Nova. It's black, but it has a very holographic shimmer to it, and it's very pretty. And like I said, since I didn't really know what I was doing here, just doing trial by error, I wanted to make sure that this UV resin stayed in place. So I am basically doing a flash cure so that if there was any movement in that epoxy, that I was going to be sure that it was not going to move on me. I wanted it to be nice and set. So now that I did that, I'm placing it underneath my UV resin. What do you call those things? Little nail lamps. And I'm doing the same thing now with the other side, and just making sure I've got the UV resin on all of the parts of the shear handles. And if I have any excess, I'm going to wipe it off, and then I'll add my glitter again. I will flash cure it, and I will put it underneath my nail lamp. Now, depending on, I don't really know what it depends on, to be honest with you. Sometimes it takes just a minute for the UV resin to cure, and sometimes it takes 3 to 5 minutes. It just depends on the type of lamp that you have, and what actual voltage that it is producing. So now that my scissors are cured, I am just taking a paintbrush and wiping off any of the excess glitter. And I go in, I think, with a total of 2 more coats of the UV resin. And now that I have the glitter on, you can add a little bit more UV resin to your shears than you did the first time, because you are going to be covering all of the glitter, and the glitter will soak up that resin. So, a little goes a long way. Just use a little bit at first, and then just keep adding your UV resin, and make sure that every piece of glitter has been covered. Now, that flashlight's really cool. So if you're looking for something that you can flash cure real quick for your UV resin, I would definitely suggest the flashlight. And then that just stops the resin from moving. And then you can completely cure it in your nail lamp, or if you have a nice sunny day, put your scissors outside, or if you're using UV resin on your glitter pins, you can take those and put those in the sun as well. It does say do not put it in direct sunlight. I have used this quite a bit. I think this is my 3rd bottle, and I have not had any negative reaction doing it that way. So, use at your own risk. So I've taken off the tape now, and I am getting prepared to add a decal. This is for one of my customers, and she is a registered nurse, and she wants her name and RN for registered nurse on her scissors. So I'm getting it prepared now. As like I said earlier, with UV resin, you're not able to get like a really good smooth finish on it, in my opinion. So I really wanted to find a way to make it nice and smooth for her, and I am going to be adding regular epoxy to this in just a moment. So now that I've added her decal, I will spray paint that with clear Rust-Oleum 2 times, Rust-Oleum 2 times clear. And I just make sure that that decal is sealed on, so that if I do have any epoxy issues, it's not going to happen because I have sealed it. Like, if you didn't seal it, there's a possibility that epoxy could get underneath that decal, and it would make the decal lift. So that's why I always seal my decals. So I have KS Resin Liquidy Split Ultra UV. It is my favorite epoxy. You can save 5% with the link in the description. And it was kind of a trial by error thing, once again, with adding, the little foam insert for my tumbler onto the PVC pipe, and then I put the scissors on top, and I added a nice thick rubber band so that the scissors wouldn't move while they were spinning on my turner. I've got the blue painter's tape back on. The other side, I did take it off because I had to sand and I had to wash it. So I wanted to make sure that I wouldn't have any extra water somehow packed underneath that tape. Water and epoxy don't mix, and I'm not going to be causing any problems with that. So that was about it. I think I put on 2 more coats of epoxy until the scissors were nice and smooth. And just taking off the tape here, making sure that everything looks and feels good so that my customer can be happy. As always, I love it when people like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you have any comments or questions. I love to try to get back to everybody. But these scissors were really cool. So if you're looking for something for someone for a gift in the medical field, this would be such a cute gift for them. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous day.